Welcome back, everybody. I'm Charlie Lambden. This is Moving Home with Charlie, and it's another episode of Charlie Chats with Alex.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Or good morning, or good middle of the night, or whatever it might be when you're watching this.
Yes, true.
And wherever in the world you might be watching this as well. This is an international channel.
What? Canadians? Australians?
Even Canadians.
Americans? Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah. In this video, we are going to have a brief, and it's the first time I've actually discussed CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, on this channel. We're going to try and keep it very simple and try and keep it relevant to people wondering about their financial future as far as owning or renting a home is concerned. And we're going to keep it theoretical.
Yes.
We're not going to be stating anything as categorical fact.
No.
So all of this is just our totally unqualified opinion. It's two middle-aged old bastards shooting the shit
about the latest tech.
And what it may or may not do. So actually the purpose of this video is really just to give people a bit of basic stuff, no prophets of doom stuff.
No, as if I would.
So let me start. Can I start with this? A central bank digital currency. The reason for its existence is that governments, because CBDCs have been referred to by governments around the world, that's something they're experimenting with, and something they're planning to implement and bring in. In fact, it's underway in many
and China
countries.
Already have a central bank digital currency. The yuan is working, and it has social.
Sorry, is that a controversial statement or is that an accepted?
No, it's a truth.
Okay.
And they have a social scoring system that works alongside it, and we'll get into that a little bit later.
That sounds a bit like Mad Max. Not Mad Max. That's the wrong thing to say. But never mind. So it's not a theory.
No.
This is, you can check. I mean, I published a link to an article on Reuters about this. The UK government has published its intention to implement CBDCs.
Yes, I think yesterday or the day before, the Bank of England, can't remember, very recently, the Bank of England has said, we believe that we will need to have a UK sterling CBDC within the next decade.
Just to help help this video along, Bank of England, UK central bank digital currency. I'll put a link in the description of that. So let me just share this just so that people know that we're not talking total bollocks. I mean, we do talk a lot of bollocks.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I would never dispute that fact.
We do talk a lot of bollocks. So let's just make sure people know that this is not some of the bollocks that we're talking. And here is the page. It's the Bank of England website, and it is the digital pound.
Exactly.
We are looking at a case for issuing a digital pound, it says. Just considering it.
Yes.
This type of money is known as central bank digital currency. Oh, so it exists already then, if it's known as that. It would not replace cash.
That is lie number one.
That's lie number one. Okay. So this again, this is opinion. This is our opinion and conjecture. We don't know for a fact that it's a lie. Okay. We don't. Sorry, we can't prove.
No, you're quite right. You're quite right.
We can't prove it's a lie, but I agree with you that they know that's bollocks. Okay, because there's no point in having it, unless it replaces cash.
Well,
there might be some benefits to it, but ultimately, the end game for CBDC is as we think.
But the reason to replace cash is because then people cannot. I mean, cash says on it that you must pay the bearer, the value, and so on. If you remove that from the system, then the only way the payments can be made is digitally. And that means that you have the ability to wipe out debt if you want to of specific types, because there's no cash in the system to make that difficult in terms of somebody turning up and asking for value against.
Sorry, hang on a second. What, wipe out debt? You can't wipe out debt if cash still exists. Is that what you're saying?
It's much harder because you don't know where you're starting from. If there's still cash out there, you never know who's going to rock up and go, "I've got £1 million here in this suitcase.
I want to convert it.
I want stuff." Yes. So it's just one of the things. So the first conflation is that people think of central bank digital currencies in the same way that they think of cryptocurrencies, and they're very different.
Right. Okay. So that's a really good point. So CBDC is not cryptocurrency.
No, it's centralized. The clue is in the title. It's centralized banks.
That's not a controversial statement, is it?
No. Now, there has been some talk and also some progress in running a central bank digital currency using a decentralized ledger, which is how cryptocurrencies work.
Okay. Sorry, for 12-year-olds watching this, decentralized ledger?
So the information is not stored centrally. You literally have components of your transaction blocks in a blockchain, which could be distributed around the world.
So we don't know where they're stored, in other words. So
exactly.
Centrally means someone knows there's a lock and a key.
Correct.
Right. Distributed ledger.
Yes.
A ledger is a record of transactions.
Yep.
Means it's stored in places that can't be identified or located.
Correct.
Except to verify that the transaction happened.
Yes.
Which in theory, am I right, means that no one can alter the ledger. Is that the point?
No. The ledger is immutable because you have blocks in the chain. What that means is if you have a normal database and you change address, we've got a record of Charlie Lambdin and you're at this address. You change your address. All they do is change your address.
Yes.
If you were blockchain, you would create an entirely new record.
Okay.
So that the old record still exists at that point in time. We know that was you here. Now we have another block in the chain, and this is you at your next location.
Okay.
And by doing that, you cannot ever alter a record.
I see. So it's an uneditable history.
Correct. You can't delete it. You can't edit it. You can only create the next block in the chain.
And what if there are 12-year-old hackers going, I can change anything?
They're going to find the encryption fairly tough.
Okay. So it hasn't yet been broken as far as anyone knows. No, because the thing is, isn't it true that
there are flavors of blockchain? There's even private blockchain. We shouldn't really be discussing blockchain because it's not what's going to be used for CBDCs by large governments.
Okay, so thank you. Yep. Okay, fair enough. So we come back to CBDC. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're expected to trust that the government's centralized ledger.
Yep.
Which means a centralized record of all transactions. So is it fair or true to say that the benefit to the government of a central bank digital currency is that they have a real-time ledger of our transactions?
Yeah, correct.
So they know in real time what we spend, where we spend it, how much we spend.
Correct.
Okay. We're not going to go into whether that's a good or a bad thing. That's another discussion, but that is true, right? That's a feature of CBDC.
And from a population, you've got to bear in mind that humans, I always refer back to the dead Kennedys, give me convenience or give me death.
Yes.
Credit cards came in, I think, in the late 60s, debit cards in the 80s. Then we had phones where you could tap to pay, and that's quite recent in the last sort of 8 to 10 years, I guess.
Right, but why would CBDC be any more convenient than digital banking?
So it's not. But what I'm saying is we've always gone the route of convenience.
Yes.
Cash and, checkbooks disappeared a long time ago. Unless you're American.
Yeah.
Cash, I don't know many people who still carry cash every day and pay in cash. Everything is now, certainly in London, tap with the phone. Okay. Whether it's public transport, whether you're at a restaurant, that's just the way people work. I know more and more people who don't even carry a bank card with them.
They've just got their phone.
They've just got their phone.
Yeah.
Because there's no limit.
Yeah.
Whereas with the card, it's now £100. But you saw over COVID how the limit was raised up to £100.
Yes.
So that we didn't have to use cash. And that's another sort of indicator of the way it's going.
When contactless first came out, I can remember so many people saying, I'm not going to use contactless.
No, people could walk past me and steal my information.
Take money out of my pocket. Exactly. No, I'm never going to use that. And now,
everyone, give me convenience or give me death. So the wonderful thing is that with the central bank digital currency, you will have an account with the Bank of England. Yeah. And your company will pay your salary into that account. And this is the end game. So to begin with, you'll continue to have, let's say you bank with Barclays.
Yeah.
You'll continue to have your Barclays account. and your employer will pay money into your Barclays account, and you will use it using your debit card and your credit card or your phone, exactly as you do now. But it will back to the Bank of England's server infrastructure. And that will be in multiple locations, heavily guarded around the UK. It'll be onshore because of all the EU and US regulations, all this sort of good stuff. We will keep it onshore, and there will be multiple data centers. Now, they might work with Google and Amazon, or they might actually build their own, which is the way I think they would probably go. It'll be part of our national critical infrastructure.
You mean you don't think they've done that already?
I don't know. I haven't heard of any government data centers, A, enough of them, and B, on a scale where they could roll out CBDC, because you could imagine with 68 million people in the country, the number of transactions a day is fairly large.
Yeah.
And this will be their initial problem if they want to replace the retail banks. But then I think is where it will go, is that step one will be that employers will pay salary into your Bank of England account, which will then feed into your retail bank account for you to spend it.
Yeah.
And then eventually the retail banks will disappear entirely for transactions, and you'll just have the Bank of England system, whereby now
the retail banks will disappear.
That would be my take. Now that is absolutely opinion and guesswork.
Speculation.
It is not what the Bank of England say is going to happen.
Okay.
But why would you have those additional layers when you don't need them? Now, I've also heard stories of, you're going to get a chip that's implanted under your skin, which allows you. No, it'll be just like a standard debit card or like a phone. Why would you need any additional device?
It might be fingerprint, but that's like fingerprint ID on your phone.
No, because you're talking. I think we will get additional security on our mobile phones, because they'll want a whole range of authentication, because you're going to give people potentially access to their entire life savings.
You can already do voice, fingerprint, and face ID.
Yeah,
you can already do all of those.
Yes, not foolproof on the iPhones, but pretty good.
Okay.
And Samsung, Android, likewise. There will be an update on the factor authentication.
And so, okay, why?
Why what?
Why is the Bank of England why is the government wanting to bring in CBDC? Well, what's the benefit to them?
Well, enormous benefit.
Okay.
Well, because they're losing a whole bunch of tax revenue because people are taking cash.
Sex workers.
Yes, there you go. There's an enormous benefit in terms of the country finances. But I think the main benefit is, as I've said, if multiple governments do this, you can have debt jubilees between countries.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, we definitely have to come on to the debt jubilee, but just a minute. So I agree with you that there's no point to this unless they get rid of cash, eventually. If they get rid of cash, people dealing in illicit drugs are either going to have to use cryptocurrency.
Yeah, but and this is, and that's always the theory.
Okay, because if you can't pay cash for your drugs anymore,
but this is where people get very caught up in this argument.
I'm not expressing any opinions on this. I'm just trying to explore the practicalities.
Yeah, and they say, well, that's okay, because there will be a shadow currency, which will be a cryptocurrency, whether that be Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever.
Which is why the government announced last week that they want to regulate cryptocurrency.
Correct. Because here's the problem. Your drug dealer at some point is going to want to convert that into a brand new Ferrari.
Yes.
Now, unless he's got a Ferrari dealer that is willing to take a currency that he cannot buy anything else with except drugs, you're going to need to convert those into the central bank digital currency. Well, you can't, can you? How do you convert your crypto into CBDC if the government is watching? So
we should have Demolition Man on there.
Yeah, well, exactly. So that's I love Demolition Man. It's a good film.
I haven't seen it for a long time. You need to see it again.
So what I would imagine is this: the government will allow limited conversion, but they will tax it to the point where it becomes a pain to use crypto. The banks are very worried about cryptocurrencies because it does allow people to potentially evade. I'm not suggesting that people who use cryptocurrencies are bad people. What I'm saying is there is the potential, just as these same people are frightened that central bank digital currencies have the potential for the government to control the populace.
Yes.
These are competing things,
Yeah.
and they are both things that are hypothetical,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
also potentially real.
Yeah.
Which one is more scary? Are we more scared that drug dealers are going to evade paying their tax, or are we more scared that the government decides that because you're overweight and your NHS records say that you may get type 2 diabetes, you're no longer allowed to buy sugar in a supermarket? You know, which one is more frightening?
Yeah.
You've exceeded your carbon quota. You can't get on an aeroplane for the rest of this year. What, you know, I understand it from the government's perspective. Of course, they want to make sure that everyone's paying the fair amount and that nobody is trying to get around the system.
Right. They've already begun the driving limitations in Oxford, haven't they? They've got that pilot scheme.
Yes.
Where
The 15-minute city.
Yes.
Where you don't travel further than 15 minutes away or in a 15-minute radius. Yeah.
Our free country. That we live in.
But bear in mind, this is a scheme that was actually found. People, it's a big Twitter conspiracy at the moment. This is happening in cities around the world. But guess who had the first meeting and where it was held? Ken Livingston. Oh yes, our London mayor, Red Ken, in London was the first 15-minute city meeting. So we have no one to blame but ourselves.
What was his thinking? Do you know?
Well, literally that you would cut down on a whole range of things, from pollution and all this sort of good stuff.
Okay.
And that people didn't need.
But don't they want people to travel longer distances to spend money?
Well, you would think, but bear in mind, Ken Livingston.
Yeah.
He wasn't a great capitalist, although it turned out in his personal life, yeah.
Yeah. He was a champagne socialist, wasn't he?
He was a little.
Are we all? To an extent. Wow. Okay. So let's just touch on the debt jubilee.
Yeah.
A lot of people won't have heard that expression. The Jubilee is a celebration, isn't it?
Well, it actually biblical in origin.
Okay.
Was that I can't even remember. I'm going to make this up now because it was a long time since I went near a Bible. I believe it was every 7th year. Every 40th year or 50th year. That's right. Yeah, if you look up Bible Jubilee and try 50 years, 40.
21 Bible verses about year of Jubilee. No, I can't see. Don't worry.
Okay, but in modern terms, okay, there have been jubilees after the Second World War, where literally at a government and country level, debts are just forgiven. So you owe us.
Let you off.
Yeah, we just either we know that you can't afford.
So
to
who would
it.
be letting whom off their debt?
Well, this is the wonderful thing. All the Western world and Asia as well, given that they have bankrolled a lot of UK industry and also US, we would be able to sit there and say, right, the thing that is stifling our ability to invest in our own infrastructure is we are having to service these enormous debts, and we're paying quite a large proportion of our GDP to outsiders, whether that be foreign countries or whether it be to large corporations. And if we can write off that debt and reset it, so we basically just throw it away, then we can go back to investing in infrastructure in the country.
It's like going bankrupt.
Yeah. Yes. Actually, I've never thought of it that way, but yes, absolutely, it is a little like going bankrupt, which is where the country is. If you look at the mountains of debt we've got, bankruptcy is the best option. And CBDC.
But who's going to write it off and go, don't worry?
Well, I think Western governments all realise how
let each other off, but there are different balances. I mean, there are going to be differences in balances.
Yeah, but if you was it a rising tide floats all boats and all that sort of thing? You're quite right. Some countries, Germany, for instance, might take a look and go, I'm not very happy about this. I've lent money to everybody.
Mm.
Whereas Italy's going to be going, thank you very much.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic. Spare the Spanish will be having siestas again. It'll be great. It's going to be difficult to work out. But what other way is there out of this debt crisis, which isn't even real? This is the problem. This money is being magicked out of thin air by our banks. If it never existed,
unmagicking it.
Yes, just unmagic.
And would a debt jubilee of the type that you're talking about have, what would be the benefit or not benefit or disadvantage, benefit or disadvantage to your average person in the street?
Hopefully they would see hospital.
Better public services because the governments aren't servicing massive debt. So,
exactly.
Because did you see December's figures?
Yes.
That was actually quite shocking. I mean, so it was £17 billion
just to service our debt. Yeah.
So 12 billion of which was interest alone.
Yeah.
So we're literally borrowing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, that's two
as a country level, and £12 billion a month is 144 billion. That's the NHS budget.
Yeah.
In interest.
Yes. Debt is our problem.
Who's receiving this interest? The holders of all the gilts.
Yeah. Yes, there is something of an issue in that it's a bit circular in terms of pension companies, insurance companies, as well as foreign governments, all this sort of good stuff. And of course, we do need to be able to pay pensions.
Yes.
So,
but wait, I thought all the money that I put away when I was younger is being saved up in the bank by the government to pay my pension later.
It's complex, but I think CBDCs are a step towards allowing us to continue, because otherwise the West is basically decaying.
CBDCs are a way for the government to take better care of us.
Well, look, hey, CBDCs are frightening as hell. There's no two ways about it. You remember when salmonella in eggs and then cholesterol in eggs and you shouldn't eat them? Well, with a CBDC, anything that the government thinks is good for you, they could potentially force you to do. Now,
sorry, that's one other thing we've missed out. I don't know if this is verified or not in any of the official literature about it by the Bank of England, but the people have been saying that they'll be able to expire your money. Yes. Your money will have a
you have to spend
use by date. Well, you can't save it.
No.
So why would they not want us to save it?
Well, that's the whole way our economy works at the moment. They have discouraged saving for over 20 years with low interest rates. Yeah. The more you spend in the economy, the healthier your economy appears if you're not borrowing the money. If you save it, that's dead money. It's not going to do anything. Having it sitting in an account may give you some confidence and some reassurance that you've got money for a rainy day. Yeah. Doesn't help our economy from a government's perspective. They want you out there spending every penny you've got. What they don't want you to do anymore is spend all the pennies you don't have.
Okay. This sounds a bit like we'll probably end up not owning anything.
Yeah.
I don't know, just a theory, but if they're looking after us better, then at least we'll be happy.
Oh, we'll be so happy. We will be happy.
Should we leave it there?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.